King Charles may finally be starting to realise that there is absolutely no reason to work with Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. This idea that anything positive can come from having an ongoing relationship with them is for the birds. Paula Frolic Uncensored, reporting that the monarch has withdrawn his invitation for Harry and Meghan to come to Sandringham over the summer. And the best news is that this is a response to what she describes as the Australia trauma tour. And we're not going to punish them. We don't want to upset them. The titles aren't going to go. The line of succession isn't going to go. No, you've got to do something, Charles, because this is getting worse. And they're embarrassing you. They're embarrassing you in Ukraine. They're embarrassing you in Washington, D.C. They're embarrassing you on the internet. The royal family is actually coming through this whole series of events pretty well. But Harry and Meghan are going to be the constant thorn in your side if you don't listen to William and take further action.
King Charles may finally be reaching a breaking point because at this stage, continuing any kind of relationship with Prince Harry and Meghan Markle is starting to look completely pointless. The idea that something positive could still come out of this situation, for many watching that feels like a stretch. And now major reports are claiming something big. The king has allegedly pulled back an invitation for Harry and Meghan to spend the summer at Sandringham. That's not a small move, that's a statement. What makes this even more explosive is why this decision may have been made. Insiders are pointing to what's being called the Australia tour fallout.
That Charles won't invite them, especially not after their trip to Australia. Harry, who likes to speak about anti-bullying, as seen as a bully inside the palace. Absolutely, he is. When he doesn't get what he wants, he stamps his foot like a child and not only does what he was going to do anyway, but then tries to emotionally blackmail his father with his own children, Archie and Lily. An invitation was already unadvised, especially after Centre Bali, via its chairwoman Sophie Chandoka, sued Harry for defamation. But the trip to Australia was the straw that broke the camel's back. It would indeed make the king look very weak if he did have them to Sandringham. Harry and Meghan will come, but it won't be at the king's invitation, my source.
A trip that, instead of repairing their image, seems to have raised even more eyebrows. For a long time, critics have been frustrated with how softly the palace appeared to handle things. There were constant whispers like, "We won't punish them, we don't want to upset them, their titles stay, nothing changes in the line of succession." But meanwhile, the situation kept escalating. Public appearances, interviews, headlines, it all started piling up, and not just in the UK, the conversation spread to the US across social media and beyond.
Well, let's go back to the invitation. And I use that term very, very loosely because it was Harry who once again went to the media and said, well, of course, we'd entertain. We'd love to have an invitation, something along the lines of we'd entertain an invitation to Sandringham. Of course, he wants that because if you're invited by the king, you automatically get state-funded security, which is all he cares about. He doesn't want to spend any more dollars of his own, quickly running out. And then he put on, it would be lovely for the family to meet the king. And of course, it would depend on who was there, AKA William and Catherine. And it was, at the time, it was blatant emotional blackmail for the king. However, the king and the palace did put something out, a statement out that was quite strongly worded. And, he would love to meet his grandchildren. He's only met Lily once for a hot second. Archie possibly twice. But after Australia, no can do. I mean, what's he going to do? How is he going to deal with it when Meghan shows up wearing a dress and it's immediately sold online? We're going to meet the in-laws, what to wear to a palace, what to wear when hanging out with your dreaded stepmother. It's insane and it's tacky and it cannot happen. And he also knows, as does everyone at this point, that Harry and Meghan have zero cachet right now. Not in the States, not in the UK, not anywhere. And in order to get it back, they need some royal shine on them.
At some point, it stopped being background noise and became a full-blown spectacle. What's surprising is that through all of this, the royal family itself has managed to maintain a relatively steady image. But Harry and Meghan, they continue to be a source of tension that just doesn't go away. And here's the key issue. If stronger action isn't taken, the tension doesn't fade, it grows. That's why this reported decision is being seen by some as a turning point. More insiders are now saying the Australia trip wasn't just another chapter. It may have been the final straw. The moment where patience ran out. Then there's the ongoing debate about public messaging versus private behaviour. Harry has been very vocal about topics like anti-bullying, but critics have questioned whether those values are always reflected behind closed doors. Inside palace circles, there have been long-standing frustrations. Reports describe emotional strain, disagreements, and situations where expectations didn't match reality. Of course, much of this comes from unnamed sources, but the consistency of these claims keeps the conversation alive. Another layer to this story is how communication happens. Time and time again, things seem to play out through the media. And according to palace insiders, that approach has caused serious tension because from their perspective, it creates pressure, public pressure. When headlines speak before conversations happen, it leaves very little room for trust. There's also the question of timing, and this is where things get even more intense. Harry's recent moves on the global stage have raised eyebrows, especially when they appear to overlap with key moments for King Charles, major visits, sensitive political timing, and suddenly...
Because Harry's visit to Ukraine and his attack on Donald Trump and the American administration specifically, literally 4 days before King Charles is touching down in Washington, D.C., to me, that was the ultimate slight to his father. Proof, actually, Paula, that this dude is quite sick in the head when it comes to his dad, because in public, he'll quite happily say, like after the meeting last year, oh, I'm just so worried about him. I need to spend my time. Remember when he gave that awful BBC interview and basically said that he's worried that his father was going to die before a reconciliation and, oh, it's all about him. But then when it comes to a trip like this, which remember is already incredibly stressful for King Charles, he's having to stop his cancer treatment in order to go. If you look at the itinerary, Paula, which I know you'll be all across, I mean, it's actually for someone who is going through cancer treatment, very, very taxing. You know, it's a big tour, this. You know, you've got the 2 days in Washington, D.C., travel to New York, big day in New York, then the final day in America, in Virginia, before going to Bermuda on his own without Camilla. I mean, this is a big itinerary. What's the one thing he didn't need? Stress caused by Harry.
Suddenly, unexpected headlines appear. For some observers, that's not just coincidence. That's conflict. King Charles is currently balancing an incredibly demanding schedule, including international travel and ongoing health challenges. Every appearance matters, every message matters, and the last thing he needs is added controversy. So when unexpected statements or actions come in right before major royal engagements, it doesn't just create noise, it creates stress.
And Meghan, and this is the thing that William is always pointing out, stress has a real role in terms of how someone deals with cancer.
Another Oprah interview. Does Harry come out with another book? Does Meghan? It's way too dangerous. It's way too ridiculous. But after the shopping website, no. You're going to sell your trauma closet for cash? Absolutely not. This is disgusting.
And according to commentators, that stress is exactly what Prince William has been warning about behind the scenes, the idea that ongoing disruptions could have real consequences. At the same time, there's growing discussion about Harry and Meghan's standing, not just within the royal family, but globally. Some reports suggest their influence isn't as strong as it once was. Not in the UK, not in the US, and not in media circles where narratives can shift quickly, and that raises a bigger question. What happens next? Because if every move leads to more controversy, more headlines, more tension, where does it actually go from here? There's also speculation about future interviews and projects, even future books. And for the palace, that uncertainty creates a serious dilemma. Do you engage or do you distance completely? Right now, it seems like distance might be winning, especially after moments that critics describe as crossing a line, including commercial moves, public appearances, and decisions that blur the line between private life and public brand. At some point, it stops being just a family issues and becomes a public relations battle.
To be properly committed to such a big role when you are undergoing utterly brutal treatment on a weekly basis. I feel for him.
I think he's up for it. I do. I look at this. He has gone through brutal treatment. He's having a horrible time with cancer. He has been the most active king we've seen in years.
True.
Or, well, he was,
True. And we're going to see it next week. We are going to see it next week, and it is going to be fascinating. And of course, Paula is the perfect person to subscribe to over this, because she is very much at the intersection between royal news and American politics.
And that's where things stand now, right on that edge. Because if reports are accurate, the message from King Charles is becoming clearer than ever. Enough is enough. No invitation, no summer reunion, no easy reset. But even with all of that, the story is far from over. Behind the scenes, there are still questions about finances, future plans, and long-term strategy. Some insiders claim things are not as stable as they appear on the surface. Deals, projects, expectations, not everything is aligning the way it once did. And interestingly, one suggestion keeps coming up again and again: step away from the spotlight, take time off, disappear for a while, reset. But here's the twist: that's something many believe will never actually happen, because staying visible has always been a key part of their strategy. So instead of stepping back, the spotlight continues, and with every new appearance, every new headline, every new statement, the pressure builds. Meanwhile, King Charles is sending a very different message. In a recent address, he made it clear stepping down is not on the table, no abdication, no retreat. Despite health challenges, despite ongoing tensions, he's staying in position, and that decision says a lot, because it signals stability, even when everything around him feels uncertain. But it also raises expectations. If he's staying, then stronger leadership may be expected, tougher decisions, clearer boundaries, less room for ongoing disruption. Some point to other European royals who have made bold moves to streamline their families, removing titles, redefining roles, and making sharp, decisive changes. And now the question is, could something similar happen here, or will things continue as they are? One thing is certain: this situation isn't fading quietly. It's evolving, fast, and with global attention locked in, every move matters more than ever. Because in the end, this isn't just about family drama. It's about image, control, and the future of the monarchy itself. And right now, that future feels more unpredictable than ever. What we are witnessing is the dismantling of a royal bridge. This isn't just a family disagreement. It's a fundamental shift in the monarchy's strategic alignment. Enough is enough. Subscribe America Dispatch for more investigative reports. Suscríbete a America Dispatch. Sigue a America Dispatch. Thank you for watching.